Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of NASCAR's Lost Teams, TriStar Motorsports. TriStar Motorsports is a former NASCAR Cup Series and Xfinity Series race team that competed from 1989 through 2018. Some notable drivers have made starts for this team over the years. Names such as Hut Stricklin, Bobby Hamilton, Loy Allen Jr., Dick Trickle, Jeff Green, Corey Lajoie, and Matt Dibenedetto, just to name some more well-known drivers who made starts for TriStar. Almost always known as an underdog team, owner Mark Smith was able to find a way to survive in the sport he loved, NASCAR. Making their NASCAR Cup Series debut with Ron Esau behind the wheel of a number 18 Pontiac at Talladega in the spring of 1989, starting and finishing 38th, following an accident on lap 117. Later that same season, Brad Teague made the team's second Cup Series start at Charlotte in the fall, with sponsorship from Mellow Yellow, starting 21st, but on lap 245, Teague's engine blew, leaving them to finish 31st. For the 1990 NASCAR Cup Series season, TriStar only made 6 starts throughout the entire 29-race season, with 4 different drivers. Hut Stricklin made the first 2 starts of the season behind the wheel of a number 68 Chevrolet at Daytona in the spring, and a number 18 Pontiac for the spring Atlanta race. Both outings were not all that fruitful, scoring finishes at 33rd and 37th. With sponsorship from Interstate Batteries, they fielded a number 68 Pontiac at Talladega in the summer for Stanley Smith. After not seeing the checkered flag in the first 5 starts that they would make, TriStar Motorsports would see the checkered flag in their 6th start at Michigan in the summer, with Mike Chase behind the wheel of the number 68 Pontiac, where they finished 24th. Bobby Hamilton was the next driver to get an opportunity behind the wheel of the TriStar Motorsports number 68 Pontiac, making 2 starts near the end of the season with sponsorship from Country Time Lemonade. Hamilton's best finish was 28th at Charlotte in the fall. Smith decided to sign Hamilton to drive his number 68 Country Time Lemonade Oldsmobile in the 1991 and 92 seasons full-time. In the second half of the 92 season, TriStar made the switch over to Ford. Hamilton's rookie season in the Cup Series was 1991, and in fact he would win Rookie of the Year honors that season. Spending most of the season between 22nd and 29th in point standings, Hamilton's rookie season was reasonable, all things considered. 1992 was very similar as far as how they performed in the point standings. Between the 91 and 92 seasons, Hamilton made 57 starts, with a 4th at Rockingham in the fall of 1992. His best finish was 6th at Rockingham in the fall of 1991. Overall, in 57 starts, Hamilton scored 6 top 10s with a best point finish at 22nd in 1991. Hamilton remained TriStar Motorsports driver for the first 8 races of the 1993 NASCAR Cup Series season. His best start was 9th at Martinsville in the spring, and his best finish was 15th at Rockingham in the spring. Greg Sachs took over the reins of that number 68 Country Time Lemonade Ford for 18 starts throughout the remainder of the 93 season. Sachs' best start was 6th at Charlotte in the fall, and his best finish was 6th at Talladega in the summer. Overall, in 18 starts, Sachs scored 1 top 10. Dorsey Schrader ran the 2 road course races at Sonoma and Watkins Glen. His best start was 19th, and his best finish was 33rd, both coming at Sonoma in the spring. Loy Allen Jr. made a one-off start at Phoenix in the fall, behind the wheel of the team's number 68 Country Time Lemonade Ford, starting 40th and finishing 26th. The following season, in 1994, Smith made the decision to run full-time with rookie Loy Allen Jr., switching the team's number from 68 to 19. Hooters came aboard the team as the primary sponsor. Dennis Conner served as Allen's crew chief for the 94 season, for the team's first 12 starts. The team attempted all 31 races, only qualifying for 19 events. Now, even though they had issues making the races, Allen was fast on the speedways. In fact, his best start was first 3 times, at Daytona and Atlanta in the spring, then Michigan in the summer. His best finish was 11th at Charlotte in the spring. Overall, in 19 starts, Allen scored 2 top 15s and 3 top 20s, finishing 39th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. The 1995 NASCAR Cup Series season saw TriStar Motorsports attempt a select schedule with 2 different drivers. Phil Parsons made the first 4 attempts, qualifying twice, behind the wheel of the number 19 Ford. His best start was 32nd, and his best finish was 41st, both coming at Daytona in the spring. Loy Allen Jr. attempted 9 races, qualifying 7 times. Allen's best start was 2nd, and his best finish was 10th, both coming at Talladega in the spring. Overall, the team made 9 starts, and they scored 1 top 10 finish. Also fielding his second entry at Watkins Glen in the summer, a number 68 Ford for Ron Fellows. He started 36th and finished 35th, after an issue with his engine on lap 40. Returning for another partial season in 1996, Loy Allen made the first 2 starts of the season, behind the wheel of the number 19 Health Source Ford. At Rockingham, Allen suffered a neck injury in an accident that put him on the sidelines for several weeks. Dick Trickle filled in for Allen while he was injured, making 10 attempts, qualifying 8 times. His best start was 2nd at Dover in the spring, and his best finish was 8th at Bristol in the spring. Allen returned at Pocono in June, making 10 attempts altogether throughout the 96 season, qualifying 9 times. Allen's best start was 23rd at Darlington in the fall, and his best finish was 21st at Talladega in the fall. Mike Wallace made the final start of the season for TriStar Motorsports, number 19 team, at Michigan in August, starting 41st and finishing 29th. Overall, in 18 Cup Series starts, TriStar Motorsports scored 1 top 10 finish in 1996. Things did not improve as the calendar flipped from 96 to 97. Allen remained the team's primary driver going into the season, though he would not be for long, as Allen would be replaced following race 2 in 1997, behind the wheel of the number 19 Child Support Recovery Ford. Allen's best start was 33rd, and his best finish was 26th, both coming at Daytona in the spring. Gary Bradbury replaced Allen behind the wheel of that number 19. Bradbury made 12 attempts, qualifying 8 times. His best start was 14th at Darlington in the spring, and his best finish was 31st at Charlotte in the spring. Following another D&Q at Michigan in June, Smith temporarily suspended racing operations for his race team, though they did continue to build motors, changing their name to TriStar Motors and eventually Pro Motor Engines, building and leasing Chevrolet and Toyota engines to NASCAR race teams. In fact, their engines powered Jack Sprague, Travis Kvapil, and Ron Hornaday Jr. to Craftsman Truck Series championships. They focused on engine building primarily until 2010, when they returned to active competition, purchasing an Xfinity Series race team from Front Row Motorsports in 2010. This team had 3 entries, a number 34 Chevrolet that Tony Raines would drive, a number 35 Chevrolet with Jason Keller behind the wheel, and a number 36 Chevrolet that ran a part-time schedule. The number 34 had Raines behind the wheel full-time. Raines was reasonably consistent, especially considering the equipment that he was in. His best start was 18th at Phoenix in the spring, and his best finish was 7th at Talladega in the spring. Overall, in 35 starts, Raines scored 2 top 10s, finishing 17th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Jason Keller was behind the wheel of Smith's number 35 Chevrolet full-time for the 2010 season. This ended up being Keller's final career season. His best start was 11th at Iowa in the summer, and his best finish was 4th at Talladega in the spring. Overall, in 27 starts, Keller scored 1 top 5 and 1 top 10. The number 35 team finished 29th in final Xfinity Series owner points. Tony Abe ran the 3 road course races with a best finish of 15th at Watkins Glen in the summer. Antonio Perez made a one-off start at Gateway in the fall, finishing 34th. Tony Raines made a one-off start at Phoenix in the fall, finishing a reasonable 19th. Smith made the number 36 entry a part-time entry, which would start and park almost all the time to help fund the entries that ran the entire event. Switching the number 34 entry to the number 19, starting in 2011, Mike Bliss would serve as the team's primary driver, making 34 starts behind the wheel of the number 19 Chevrolet. Not very flashy at all, but very consistent, spending 5 of the first 6 weeks inside the top 10 in point standings, netting 22 top 20s throughout the 34-race season. Bliss's best start was 7th at Loudon in the summer, and his best finish was 8th at Daytona in the summer. Overall, in 34 starts, Bliss scored 1 top 10, 10 top 15s, and 22 top 20s, finishing 12th in final Xfinity Series point standings. The number 35 entry was renumbered to the number 14, also starting in 2011. Eric McClure made all 34 starts behind the wheel of that number 14 hefty Reynolds Wrap Chevrolet, spending the majority of the season in the bottom half of the top 20 in points. His best start was 20th twice, at Las Vegas in the spring and Richmond in the fall. His best finish was 18th at Chicagoland in the early summer. Overall, in 34 starts, McClure scored 4 top 20s, finishing 19th in final Xfinity Series point standings. The number 36 was renumbered to the number 44 Chevrolet, making 29 starts throughout the season, though literally every outing they started and parked. Jeff Green served as the number 44 team's driver in 2011. Green's best start was 23rd at Richmond in the fall, and his best finish was 33rd at IRP in the summer. Angelo Ruch made 4 starts for TriStar Motorsports, 2 in the number 44, 1 in number 23, and 1 in the number 70. All Chevrolets. Her best start was 34th at Iowa in the spring, and her best finish was 25th at Loudon in the summer. Charles Lewandowski made a one-off start in the team's number 44 Chevrolet at Phoenix in the spring, starting 23rd and finishing 21st. Starting in 2012, Mark Smith and Randy Humphrey formed Humphrey Smith Racing, a number 19 and number 91 Toyota team that literally only made starting parts in the NASCAR Cup Series. Mike Bliss made 25 attempts, qualifying 8 times, all behind the wheel of that number 19 Toyota. Bliss's best start was 28th twice, at Pocono in June and Charlotte in the fall. His best finish was 36th twice, at Dover in the spring and Kansas in the fall. Chris Cook made the 2 road course starts at Sonoma and Watkins Glen, starting and parking both races. Cook's best start was 37th at Sonoma in June. His best finish was 41st at Watkins Glen in August. Jason Leffler made a start apiece in the number 19 and the number 91 Toyota, starting and parking both times. Leffler's best start was 33rd at Michigan in August, and his best finish was 42nd at Phoenix in the fall. Reed Sorensen made 13 attempts, qualifying 10 times, behind the wheel of that number 91 Toyota, starting and parking all 10 times. Sorensen's best start was 27th at Michigan in August. His best finish was 41st twice, at Charlotte and Kansas in the fall. TriStar Motorsports had a pretty reasonable season in 2012 with their Xfinity Series program. Mike Bliss made all 33 starts throughout the 2012 Xfinity Series season, 26 behind the wheel of the team's number 44 Toyota, 3 behind the wheel of the team's number 10 Toyota, 4 behind the wheel of the team's number 19 Toyota, spending all but 3 weeks inside the top 10 in point standings. Bliss's best start was 8th at Dover in June, and his best finish was 8th at Daytona in the summer. Overall, in 33 starts, Bliss scored 1 top 10, 19 top 15s, and 29 top 20s, finishing 8th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Jeff Green made 32 starts throughout the Xfinity Series season, making 22 starts behind the wheel of the team's number 10 Toyota, 2 starts each in the number 91 and number 44 Toyota, then 5 starts behind the wheel of the number 14 hefty Reynolds Wrap Toyota. While McClure was out due to injuries he suffered at Talladega Superspeedway. Green's best start was 17th at Bristol in the fall, and his best finish was 15th at Dover in the fall. Overall, in 32 starts, Green scored 1 top 15 and 5 top 20s, finishing 26th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Eric McClure made 28 starts throughout the 2012 season, all behind the wheel of the number 14 hefty Reynolds Wrap Toyota, spending the vast majority of the season inside the top 20 in point standings. In the closing laps of the spring Talladega race, Eric McClure was involved in a serious accident that involved a couple really heavy impacts. He had to be extricated from his vehicle, his number 14 hefty Reynolds Wrap Toyota. The roof had to be actually cut off the top. He was placed on a stretcher and transported to a local hospital, suffering concussion and internal bruising in the accident. McClure ended up sitting out 5 races due to injuries. McClure's best start was 15th, and his best finish was 15th, both coming at Kansas in the fall. Overall, in 28 starts, McClure scored 1 top 15 and 4 top 20s, finishing 16th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Taylor Mawson made 26 starts behind the wheel of TriStar Motorsports number 19 Toyota, spending the first 8 weeks of the season inside the top 10 in points. Mawson's best start was 14th at Talladega in the spring, and his best finish was 6th at Daytona in the spring. Overall, in 26 starts, Malcolm scored 1 top 10, 4 top 15s, and 14 top 20s, running 13th in points when Malcolm and TriStar Motorsports parted ways. Kevin LePage made 4 starts behind the wheel of the number 10 Toyota, starting and parking all 4 times. LePage's best start was 25th twice at Dover in Michigan in June. His best finish was 39th at Dover in June. Charles Lewandowski made 3 starts behind the wheel of the team's number 10 Toyota, starting and parking all 3 times. Lewandowski's best start was 22nd at Dover in the fall, and his best finish was 42nd at Charlotte in the fall. Hal Martin made 3 starts for TriStar Motorsports in 2012, 2 behind the wheel of the number 19 Toyota, and 1 behind the wheel of the number 44 Toyota. Martin's best start was 16th, and his best finish was 25th, both coming at Kansas in the fall. Alex Popow made a one-off start at Watkins Glen behind the wheel of the team's number 19 Toyota, starting 17th and finishing 38th, following a lap 5 crash. Tony Raines made 2 starts, 1 behind the wheel of the team's number 10 Toyota and 1 behind the wheel of the team's number 91 Toyota. Raines' best start was 31st at Phoenix in the fall, and his best finish was 36th at Darlington in the spring. Humphrey Smith Racing ran their final season in the NASCAR Cup Series in 2013. Mike Bliss made 18 attempts, qualifying 11 times, behind the wheel of the team's number 19 Toyota. Bliss's best start was 32nd at Dover in June, and his best finish was 41st 5 times at California and Texas in the spring, then Dover, Michigan, and Kentucky in the summer. Alex Kennedy made 3 starts behind the wheel of the team's number 19 Toyota. Kennedy's best start was 37th, and his best finish was 29th, both coming at Watkins Glen in August. Jason Leffler made his final career Cup Series start at Pocono in June, starting 42nd and finishing 43rd. Back in the Xfinity Series, Mike Bliss made all 33 starts throughout the season, 32 of which were made behind the wheel of that number 19 Toyota, and 1 behind the wheel of the team's number 10 Toyota, spending the entire season in the lower teens in point standings. Bliss's best start was 6th at Dover in the fall, and his best finish was 10th twice at Iowa in the spring and Dover in the fall. Overall, on 33 starts, Bliss scored 2 top 10s, 9 top 15s, and 23 top 20s, finishing 13th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Jeff Green made 31 starts throughout the 2013 season, making 25 starts behind the wheel of the team's number 10 Toyota and 6 behind the wheel of the number 14 Hefty Reynolds Wrap Toyota, starting and parking in every event but 6. Green's best start was 13th at Talladega in the spring, and his best finish was 16th at Dover in late August. Overall, in 31 starts, Green scored 2 top 20s, finishing 29th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Eric McClure made 27 starts throughout the 2013 season, all behind the wheel of that number 14 Hefty Reynolds Wrap Toyota, spending the entire season inside the top 20 in point standings. McClure's best start was 20th twice at Phoenix in the spring and Chicagoland in the summer. His best finish was 8th at Daytona in the spring. Overall, in 27 starts, McClure scored 1 top 10, 1 top 15, and 2 top 20s, finishing 20th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Cole Witt made 15 starts throughout the 2013 season, 14 behind the wheel of the team's number 44 Toyota, and 1 behind the wheel of the team's number 10 Toyota. Even though Witt only ran a little under half the schedule, he still worked his way all the way up to 21st in points by season's end. Witt's best start was 9th at Kentucky in June, and his best finish was 8th twice at Elkhart Lake in June and Watkins Glen in August. Overall, in 15 starts, Witt scored 4 top 10s, 6 top 15s, and 14 top 20s, finishing 21st in final Xfinity Series point standings. Hal Martin made 12 starts, all behind the wheel of the team's number 44 Toyota. Martin's best start was 14th at Las Vegas in the spring, and his best finish was 23rd twice at Phoenix in the spring and Charlotte in the fall. Chad Hackenbrack made 7 starts behind the wheel of the team's number 44 Toyota. His best start was 19th twice at Loudon in the summer and Charlotte in the fall. His best finish was 20th at Bristol in August. Chase Miller made 4 starts, 3 behind the wheel of the team's number 10 Toyota and 1 behind the wheel of the team's number 91 Toyota, starting and parking all 4 events. Miller's best start was 24th at Richmond in the fall, and his best finish was 38th in Atlanta in the fall. Michael McDowell made 2 starts for TriStar Motorsports, one behind the wheel of the team's number 10 Toyota, and one behind the wheel of the team's number 91 Toyota, starting and parking both times. McDowell's best start was 24th at Texas in the fall, and his best finish was 40th twice at Texas and Homestead in the fall. Dakota Armstrong made a one-off start at Homestead in the fall, behind the wheel of the team's number 19 Toyota, starting 34th and finishing 24th. Randy Humphrey and Mark Smith disbanded their Humphrey-Smith Racing Cup Series team at the conclusion of the 2013 season. In 2014, TriStar Motorsports had 4 full-time entries and 1 part-time entry in the Xfinity Series. Mike Bliss made 33 starts, 31 behind the wheel of the team's number 19 Toyota, and 2 behind the wheel of their number 10 Toyota, spending 2 weeks inside the top 10, and the remainder of the season in the top 15 in point standings. Bliss's best start was 10th at Bristol in the spring, and his best finish was 10th at Elkhart Lake in June. Overall, in 33 starts, Bliss scored 1 top 10, 6 top 15s, and 22 top 20s, finishing 14th in final Xfinity Series point standings. McClure made 28 starts throughout the 2014 season, spending all but 1 week inside the bottom half of the top 20 in point standings throughout the season. McClure's best start was 13th at Daytona in the spring, and his best finish was 17th at Talladega in the spring. Overall, in 28 starts, McClure scored 4 top 20s, finishing 19th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Blake Koch made 27 starts throughout the 2014 season, 16 behind the wheel of the team's number 10 Toyota, 10 behind the wheel of the team's number 44 Toyota, and 1 behind the wheel of the team's number 91 Toyota. Cook's best start was 11th at Daytona in the spring, and his best finish was 18th at Phoenix in the fall. Overall, in 27 starts, Cook scored 3 top 20s, finishing 24th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Jeff Green made 20 starts throughout the 2014 season, 7 starts behind the wheel of the team's number 91 Toyota, 8 behind the wheel of the team's number 10 Toyota, and 5 starts behind the wheel of the team's number 14 Toyota. Green's best start was 8th at Daytona in the spring, and his best finish was 18th at Dover in late May. Overall, in 20 starts, Green scored 1 top 20, finishing 31st in final Xfinity Series point standings. David Starr made 13 starts for TriStar Motorsports throughout the 2014 season, making 11 starts behind the wheel of the team's number 44 Toyota, and 2 behind the wheel of the team's number 10 Toyota. Starr's best start was 10th at Daytona in the spring, and his best finish was 9th at Talladega in the spring. Overall, in 13 starts, Starr scored 1 top 10, 3 top 15s, and 4 top 20s, finishing 26th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Will Kimmel made 5 starts, all behind the wheel of the team's number 44 Toyota. Kimmel's best start was 22nd at Bristol in the spring, and his best finish was 22nd, also at Bristol in the spring. Carlos Contreras made 3 starts, all behind the wheel of the team's number 44 Toyota. His best start was 20th at Watkins Glen in the late summer, and his best finish was 15th at Elkhart Lake in the early summer. Kevin LePage made 2 starts, both behind the wheel of the team's number 10 Toyota. His best start was 25th, and his best finish was 31st, both coming at Dover in the fall. Hal Martin made 2 starts as well, both behind the wheel of the team's number 44 Toyota, both Iowa races. His best start was 24th at Iowa in August, and his best finish was 26th at Iowa in May. Hermie Sadler made 2 starts behind the wheel of the team's number 19 Toyota. Sadler's best start was 33rd at Richmond in the fall, and his best finish was 24th at Bristol in the fall. Ross Chastain made a one-off start at Homestead in the fall, starting 25th and finishing 14th. Matt Fram made a one-off start behind the wheel of the team's number 44 Toyota at Loudon in the summer, starting 36th and finishing 25th. Paulie Rocca made a one-off start at Dover in late May, starting 22nd and finishing 19th, also behind the wheel of the team's number 44 Toyota. The 2015 Xfinity Series season saw TriStar Motorsports fill 6 entries throughout the 2015 season. Blake Koch made all 33 starts behind the wheel of the team's number 8 Leaf Filter Gutter Protection Toyota, spending almost the entire season in the bottom half of the top 20 in point standings. Cook's best start was 16th at Loudon in the summer, and his best finish was 18th 3 times, at Daytona in the summer, Watkins Glen in the late summer, and Homestead in the fall. Overall, in 33 starts, Cook scored 8 top 20s, finishing 17th in final Xfinity Series point standings. David Starr made 33 starts throughout the 2015 season, all behind the wheel of the number 44 Zachary Toyota, spending the first 5 weeks of the season in the top 10 in point standings, then slowly dropping back to 16th in points by season's end. Starr's best start was 18th twice at Daytona and Talladega in the spring. His best finish was 6th at Daytona in the spring. Overall, in 33 starts, Starr scored 1 top 10, 4 top 15s, and 11 top 20s, finishing 16th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Kel Conley made 30 starts throughout the season, all behind the wheel of TriStar's number 14 Toyota, spending all but 6 weeks in the top half of the top 20 in points, otherwise staying in the bottom half of the top 20 in points for the remainder of the season. Conley's best start was 17th at Daytona in the spring, and his best finish was 16th twice at California in the spring and Kentucky in the fall. Overall, in 30 starts, Conley scored 8 top 20s, finishing 19th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Jeff Green made 28 starts during the 2015 season, 22 behind the wheel of the team's number 19 Toyota, and 6 behind the wheel of the team's number 10 Toyota. Green started and parked all 28 starts throughout the season. Green's best start was 24th at Richmond in the spring, and his best finish was 38th twice at Texas in the spring and Darlington in the fall. Due to the fact Eric McClure had sponsorship from Hefty and Reynolds Wrap, he came back over from JL Racing to run the remainder of the 24 race schedule, taking over the number 19 car from Mike Bliss and renumbering it to number 24 that he had already ran so far this season, putting Mike Bliss basically on the sidelines, though he will run the occasional race when he finds sponsorship still for the team. Eric McClure made 24 starts, all behind the wheel of the number 24 Hefty Reynolds Wrap Toyota. His best start was 25th at Richmond in the fall, and his best finish was 18th at Loudon in the summer. Overall, in 24 starts, McClure scored 1 top 20, finishing 19th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Mike Bliss made 11 starts during the 2015 season, 8 behind the wheel of TriStar Motorsports number 19 Toyota, 3 behind the wheel of the number 14 Toyota. Bliss's best start was 16th at Daytona in the spring, and his best finish was 20th twice at Phoenix and Bristol in the spring. Charles Lewandowski made 2 starts, 1 apiece in the team's number 10 Toyota and number 19 Toyota. Lewandowski's best start was 30th at Talladega in the spring, and his best finish was 39th at Iowa in the spring. Scott Lagasse made a one-off start behind the wheel of TriStar's number 10 Toyota at Daytona in the spring, starting 22nd and finishing 37th. That following season, in 2016, TriStar Motorsports had 2 full-time entries and 1 entry that ran the majority of the schedule. J.J. Yaley made 32 starts throughout the 2016 season, slowly working his way into the top 15 in final point standings, making 26 starts behind the wheel of the number 44 Zachary Toyota and 6 behind the wheel of the number 14 Toyota. Yaley's best start was 10th at Talladega in the spring, and his best finish was 8th at Dover in the fall. Overall, in 32 starts, Yaley scored 3 top 10s, 12 top 15s, and 23 top 20s, finishing 14th in final Xfinity Series point standings. Jeff Green made 23 starts throughout the 2016 season, 8 behind the wheel of TriStar's number 10 Toyota, 15 behind the wheel of the team's number 14 Toyota. Green's best start was 23rd 4 times, Dover in the spring, Michigan and Indianapolis in the summer, then Kentucky in the fall. His best finish was 30th at Darlington in the fall. Matt Dibenedetto made 18 starts, 16 behind the wheel of the team's number 10 Toyota, and 2 behind the wheel of the number 14 Toyota. His best start was 13th, and his best finish was 11th, both coming at Kansas in the fall. David Starr made the first 7 starts of the season behind the wheel of TriStar Motorsports number 44 Zachary Toyota. His best start was 22nd at Phoenix in the spring, and his best finish was 17th at Bristol in the spring. Overall, in 7 starts, Starr scored 3 top 20s. Mike Bliss made 3 starts, 2 behind the wheel of their number 10 Toyota, and 1 behind the wheel of the team's number 14 Toyota. Bliss's best start was 24th at Iowa in the summer, and his best finish was 26th at Mid-Ohio in August. Benny Gordon made 3 starts, all behind the wheel of the team's number 14 VSI Racing Toyota. Gordon's best start was 12th at Daytona in the summer, and his best finish was 14th at Talladega in the spring. Tommy Durissi made 2 starts behind the wheel of the team's number 14 Arthritis Foundation Toyota. Durissi's best start was 28th, and his best finish was 26th, both coming at Elkhart Lake in the late summer. Hermie Sadler made 2 starts behind the wheel of TriStar's number 14 Virginia Lottery Toyota. Sadler's best start was 21st, and his best finish was 28th, both coming at Richmond in the fall. Cole Witt made 2 starts in the number 14 Toyota. His best start was 16th at Homestead in the fall, and his best finish was 16th at Phoenix in the fall. Tyler Young made a one-off start at Iowa in the summer, behind the wheel of the team's number 10 Toyota, starting 28th and finishing 39th. That following season, in 2017, TriStar Motorsports re-entered the NASCAR Cup Series full-time with a single-car operation, securing a charter from Front Row Motorsports to run the full season, with Cole Witt behind the wheel of the number 72 Chevrolet. Witt's best start was 17th at Daytona in the spring, and his best finish was 12th at Indianapolis in the summer. Overall, in 36 starts, Witt scored 1 top 15 and 4 top 20s, finishing 33rd in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. In the Xfinity Series, J.J. Yaley was the only driver to run the full schedule for TriStar Motorsports. They only fielded the number 14 Toyota for Yaley and the number 44 Toyota for a one-off start for Benny Gordon at Daytona in the spring, starting and finishing 27th. Yaley's best start was 18th twice at Phoenix in the spring and Mid-Ohio in the late summer. Yaley's best finish was 6th at Iowa in the summer. Overall, in 33 starts, Yaley scored 1 top 10, 9 top 15s, and 22 top 20s, finishing 13th in final Xfinity Series point standings. The final season the TriStar Motorsports was active was in 2018, when they ran the full NASCAR Cup Series schedule, with their number 72 Chevrolet entry. Cole Witt and Corey Lajoie split the ride, with Witt making 13 starts. His best start was 28th at Martinsville in the fall, and his best finish was 19th at Texas in the spring. Overall, in 13 starts, Witt scored 2 top 20s. Lajoie made 23 starts behind the wheel of that number 72 Chevrolet. His best start was 21st at Pocono in the summer, and his best finish was 16th at Las Vegas in the fall. Overall, between the two drivers, they made 36 starts, scoring 6 top 20s. Following the 2018 season, TriStar Motorsports could not secure a charter for the 2019 season, only attempting a couple more races, starting and parking both times. So, in 269 NASCAR Cup Series starts, TriStar Motorsports has scored 3 poles, 0 wins, 0 top 5s, and 9 top 10s, with the best points finish of 22nd in 1991 by Bobby Hamilton. In 869 Xfinity Series starts, TriStar Motorsports has scored 0 poles, 0 wins, 1 top 5, and 20 top 10s, with the best points finish of 8th by Mike Bliss in 2012. Thanks for watching, everybody, and take care.